Greetings YouTubers, it's Steve here, and today I've got something really special to show you. This is Generation 1 Headmaster Skullcruncher. And before I get started with this review though, I want to give a special thanks to my fellow collector and good friend Shredder. You'll know him by his YouTube name and channel name of Transformer Nut. So Shredder, if you're watching, thank you for the helpful advice you gave me regarding this character, especially pricing. I got this guy for what I'd call a real good price, but I'll talk about that at the end of the review. If you're new to the world of Transformers and you're looking at this and you're thinking, what in God's name is a headmaster? Well, it's really simple. Now, in this case, it's not someone who runs a school. Sorry, bad joke. The headmasters, simply put, are a subgroup of Transformers that were introduced in Generation 1, but then, of course, that concept was then carried through into other Transformer continuities. But the idea is that the head would detach from the robot, that head would then turn into another robot. And that's the simplest way of putting it. As a collector, however, I'm not a completist. I don't go after all of these Headmaster Transformers in the G1 series anyway. I select this guy only because I just love his alligator mode. I love the aesthetics of the toy. So it is an alligator. I'm told it's not a crocodile based on what I've read and conversations I've had with other collectors. You can see there's the rub symbol on the top of his head. I love him in this mode. The colouring, purple and green. I mean, that is so Decepticon. This guy looks great. I mean, come on, who would not want to have an alligator transformer? I mean, this guy is great. So in this mode, you're not going to get a great deal of articulation. The back legs will move a little bit, the front legs will move a little bit, and you've got the joint there where you can see the chrome, and of course the front feet will move. Now, apart from that, really, that's about all the articulation you're going to get in this mode. If we turn him upside down, we can see the markings underneath the head. Hasbro, 1986, Takara, 1986 Japan. The mouth will open up, and inside is this little guy here. This is the Headmaster Grax. Now, if you have a look at my Grax, unfortunately, he's missing one arm. Maybe Skullcruncher got hungry and decided to eat it on him, but oh well. When I bought this guy, he was 99.9% complete, and unfortunately, that means that 1% meant that Grax was missing an arm. But I'm not worried about that. I can fix that up later. I'll put Grax aside. Okay, now let's transform Skullcruncher into a robot mode. Okay, so the transformation is really basic. The first thing I do is fold the head back, like so. Next thing you want to do, move these front feet forward. Okay, you want to remove the tail, it comes off. We'll put that aside for now. And then what we're going to do is that the feet will fold out forward. Okay, but at the same time we want to grab these parts, make sure they're folded up so they don't hinder anything. They'll move out like this, and then the waist will twist 180 degrees. Okay, and then what we want to do, it's just a simple matter of adjusting the hands. These hands will fold up, or fists, and then you want to make sure that these pieces, this can be a little bit annoying sometimes, but you just want to make sure that the front pieces, or what were his front feet in alligator mode, are just tucked down like so. Okay, now the next part of the transformation is this little guy here, Grax. Okay, he is going to actually transform into the Headmaster. So to do that's really simple. He just folds in half. This portion here will fold up to reveal his face. Now, the Headmasters had a gimmick. You fold this, I'm going to call it a cockpit, you fold it down, And then you'll notice that we've got stats here. You've got speed, strength, and intelligence. Now, when I put the headmaster into place, bang, we can get a good look. We can see that his stats are being displayed there by the purple bars. We can see that his speed's not all that good. Very slow. Being an alligator, you'd expect that, but he's very strong. But his intelligence, surprisingly enough, is up pretty high. So then what we do is we take his tail, and that then becomes a weapon which we can stick in his hand. And then we then grab this gun here and stick that in the other hand. And there is Skullcruncher. Quite a cool robot mode, a little bit of kibble hanging off the back, but what are you going to do? Same thing applies with the articulation. This guy does not have a lot of articulation in his robot mode. The arms will move just like before. Unfortunately, his legs are not going to move at all. No movement in the head, of course. It's fixed into one spot. But hey, you know, it's Generation 1. That's kind of part of the appeal of G1 toys anyway. I can tell you this, since I bought this, I've been really surprised at a few things. Number one, the quality of the plastic used on this toy. Now granted, it's over 20 years old, but it is still really, really robust. Could you imagine just how many transformations this thing's gone through in its lifetime, and it's still in one piece. And it's quite weighty. I mean, it's not super heavy, but there's a bit of weight to it. So now, I got this guy, actually there's a bit of a story. I originally put in an offer for one guy and originally won a skullcruncher for $100, but then that seller reneged on me, which really annoyed me. However, at the last minute I was able to put in an offer from an Australian seller and get this guy for $70. Now granted, Grax is missing one arm, but you know what, that doesn't bother me, because if you have a look on eBay you can see lots of loose headmaster Grax around, and you can actually buy those in pieces. I could easily acquire one just for spare parts for $15, no problems. But what tends to be missing off these toys, I've noticed, is the gun. Most certainly in a lot of cases is the tail. That's the things you've got to watch out for. Now, if you're looking for a loose example of the toy, just any old example, you could probably pick one up for maybe $30, $40, maybe less. But in my opinion, it's well worth going after one as complete as possible, or the best you can find. The problem is, because Skullcruncher lost these weapons so easily, there's loads of them about with these missing. My advice to you is do your research before planning down cash. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that are just charging too much money for these things. I saw one of these loose in a comic shop for about $400, which is a joke. You want to make sure that you're paying a fair price for one of these. If you want one mint in sealed box, well then the money goes up even further. I've seen one mint in sealed box for as much as 500 USD. Myself personally, I don't need one mint in box. I'm quite happy with this loose example of the toy. So that's Generation 1 Headmaster Skullcruncher. I really love this Transformer. I'm very happy with him. And I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all around YouTube. Bye.